Israel bracing for attack, Iran threatening revenge. Following the assassinations of a Hezbollah commander and Hamas political leader, Israel has not claimed responsibility for the Hamas leader's death.
And nearly 10 months after the October 7th attack on Israel, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu promising we will respond and we will exact a heavy price for any act of aggression against us. And here now to share his unique insight is former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett. Good to see you, Prime Minister, and thanks for being with us. So Iran is threatening revenge against Israel. What's your reaction?
Well, Iran has been attacking Israel for the past 30 years and in particular the past 10 months from 7 directions, because people don't always understand. Iran is like an octopus. The head is Iran, but it sends about 7 different arms across the Middle East and the world, hitting Israel, but also targeting America. I'll just remind you, Israel is the small Satan. The big Satan, according to their ideology, is the United States of America. So it's sort of like this wave of radical Islam is trying to hit America, and Israel's in the middle breaking the wave. So they've been hitting us through Gaza, through Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and we're resolute. We're going to win this. But it's not a pleasant time. I wouldn't define that as a pleasant time.
You mentioned the octopus. You say Iran should be handled with something you call the Octopus Doctrine. Explain that.
Yes. I think that America and Israel, we've made a mistake for the past 30 years. We've been making a mistake where we're fighting the tentacles of the octopus, but leaving the head of the octopus to Iran, leaving them out. And it turns out that the Iranian regime is much more vulnerable, much more weaker than people expect, despised by its people. The Iranians are a great nation, but they have a terrible radical regime, which is incompetent, corrupt, and radical. And ultimately, I believe that we need to topple that regime. It's sort of like the former Soviet Union. It's gonna fall. It could happen in 3 years, it could happen in 20 years. And it's our job to accelerate that, and then the whole Middle East will look much better.
Prime Minister, let's talk about these airstrikes if we can. According to Gaza Civil Defense, at least 30 people were killed Sunday after Israeli airstrikes hit 2 schools in Gaza City. The IDF says it was a strike on Hamas command and control centers. As Israel continues to root out terrorists, are you concerned that the destruction of Gaza and the loss of innocent life may also radicalize new individuals against Israel?
Well, you know, the Gazans, unfortunately, a majority of them support the October 7th attacks, yet we bend over backward always to attack only military or terror facilities. The problem is that Hamas's MO, their modus operandi, is to use schools and hospitals as their bases. And once you turn a hospital into a terror base, it's a terror base, and we will hit it. Because if we don't, you're going to see all across the world, all terror organizations are going to use those sort of facilities to conduct terror, and that would be terrible.
When you look at what's happened in Gaza, a lot of people think about what does a post-war Gaza look like? What's your vision of that?
My vision is very positive. We have to remove Hamas. We have to de-radicalize the population, a bit like post-World War II Germany, where it was total destruction, but they had to be denazified. So the Gazans need to stop getting all this poison into their brains through brainwashing of their local media, the local education system. And then I see a good future for them while Israel retains security responsibility. We don't want to govern Gaza. Israel doesn't want to govern Gaza, so they would govern themselves. We would ensure that they can't target us again, and that would be a very positive future.
There's been a lot of speculation about your political career. Do you want to serve as Prime Minister again?
You know what? I'll come to this show, and if and when it's relevant, you'll be the first to know.
That's a promise. We're going to hold you to it.
Exactly.
All right.
We'll see how it all shakes out. Former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so
much.
Thank you. For a pleasure having you here.